Okay, so you've learned how to challenge that inner critic. But what if you could actually train your brain to stop listening to it in the first place? Well, today we're doing just that. We're adding the final and maybe the most powerful tool to your confidence toolkit, one that literally helps rewire your brain for success.
First off, let's just take a moment to appreciate the journey so far. You've already built this incredible foundation. You know how to recognize that feeling, understand what triggers it, challenge the thoughts, reframe setbacks, and even connect with others. That's huge. So now, we're going to build on all that amazing work with our final tool.
And here it is, the final piece of the puzzle, visualization. Now, this isn't some fluffy, feel-good technique. No, this is about actively building the confident future you actually want, one mental rep at a time. Okay, so what is visualization, really? It sounds kind of complex, maybe a little out there, right? But it's actually an incredibly practical, science-backed tool that helps you quiet that inner critic and really take control of your own story.
Let's try a super quick experiment right now. Don't overthink it, just can you imagine an apple?
Okay, what did you get? Maybe you saw a bright, shiny red one, or was it green? Did it have a little stalk on top? Maybe it was just the idea of an apple, just a vague sense of it. Well, guess what? If you got any of that, even for a split second, congratulations. You just visualized. That's it. Seriously, that's all it is. It's just a mental rehearsal. You're taking a skill your brain uses all the time anyway, and you're just pointing it in the right direction. You're doing it with intention.
And this is where it gets really cool, because this is so much more than just thinking positive thoughts. We're actually talking about training your brain. I mean, we're getting into neuroplasticity here. There is real, hard science that explains why this is so effective.
So here's the big idea. When you vividly imagine yourself doing something, your brain fires up many of the exact same neural pathways as it would if you were actually doing it. It's like a flight simulator for your brain, you know? The pilot gets to practice landing the plane hundreds of times before ever touching a real runway. Your brain is logging that experience as real practice.
I mean, think about it. This is why you get nervous just thinking about a big presentation, right? Your brain is already living it. So by using visualization, you're just flipping that. You're rehearsing it going well. You're basically building a memory of success before you even start, giving your brain a familiar, confident path to follow.
And that familiarity is just so powerful. See, anxiety, it loves uncertainty. When your brain has no idea what's coming next, it hits the panic button. It goes into threat mode. But visualization, it hands your brain a script. It gives it a preview. It changes that internal monologue from, oh no, what if this happens, to, okay, I've seen this before, I know what to do.
And let's be real for a second. If you struggle with imposter syndrome, you're probably already an expert at visualization. You're just visualizing the wrong thing. You mentally rehearse all the ways you could possibly mess up, right? This whole technique is about flipping the script. You're hijacking that process and using it for good. You're interrupting that spiral and practicing what it feels like to be competent.
Okay, so that's the why. It sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? Let's get into a few super simple, practical techniques you can start using, like today, to begin rewiring those old thought patterns. All right, the first one is called success rehearsal. This is a great one to do for just a few minutes in the morning. All you do is pick one thing coming up in your day that's giving you a little bit of anxiety. Then you just close your eyes and see it going well. See yourself handling it confidently, calmly. And here's a key part. Even imagine a small challenge popping up and see yourself navigating it with ease. Then, and this is crucial, really try to feel that sense of accomplishment and relief at the end. Okay, what about those really sticky, intrusive thoughts? For that, you can try something called the balloon method. It's simple. You just picture that thought like, I'm not good enough, and you mentally place it inside a big balloon. Then you just watch it float up and drift away. The point isn't to fight the thought, it's to create distance, to see it as something separate from you that you can just let go. Here's another great one. Imagine your inner critic is like a really loud, obnoxious person yelling outside your window. All that negative self-talk is just noise. So in your mind's eye, you just calmly walk over to that window and you close a thick, soundproof, double-paned window. The noise might still be out there faintly, but it's not in your house anymore. It doesn't have power over you. You've reclaimed your peace and quiet. Now, this is a super important tip. Your goal here is not to visualize perfection. Trying to be flawless is a total trap. It can actually make you more anxious. No, the magic word is competently. Aim to see yourself handling things calmly, confidently, and competently. That's the sweet spot. It's real, it's achievable, and honestly, it's way more powerful for building genuine confidence.
So there you have it. Your toolkit is now complete. And look, the goal was never to get rid of self-doubt forever. That's not realistic. The goal was to build a completely new way of responding to it. It's about having a plan, a set of tools you can pull out the moment those feelings start to creep in. This whole 6-step process, think of it as your new roadmap. From that very first moment you recognize the feeling, all the way to actively building your future confidence, you now have a tool for every single step of the way.
And this really brings us to the biggest, most important idea in this entire journey. Those thoughts, those feelings of being a fraud, they are not you. They are not your identity. They're just mental weather, you know? Some days it's stormy, some days it's clear. But you are the sky, not the storm passing through. See, imposter syndrome gets all its power when we glue ourselves to the thought. When that little feeling of, I feel like a fraud, turns into the giant, heavy belief of, I am a fraud. Every tool we've talked about is designed to do one thing: create a little bit of space between you and that thought. So you can see it for what it is, just a thought, a fleeting bit of mental weather, not a fact.
So, this toolkit, it gives you that tiny, crucial moment of space between the thought and your reaction. And in that space, you have a choice. Look, the old thoughts are still going to pop up. That's not the point. The real question is, with that space, with that choice, who are you going to practice being?